Hi, good morning, Mrs. S. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. My name is Samara. I am your daughter's nurse. I would like to do an interview with you in order for me to better get a background and information about your family to be able to provide a better care to your daughter.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
So the first question is, who do you consider as your family, Mrs. S?
So in my house, there's my two 9-year-old twin boys, my daughter Clarissa, and my husband and I.
Okay. And any extended family living with you in the same household?
No, not right now, but I have some other family members who live in the neighborhood.
Oh, I see. Okay. Now I would like to ask some questions about about Clarissa's diagnosis, and how you feel. Do you feel comfortable talking about it?
Sure.
Okay. So tell me about your feelings and the possible challenges you faced with once you were informed of her diagnosis.
I mean, to be honest, being told that my 15-year-old daughter has a terminal brain cancer is there's no words to describe it. Like I didn't expect it, and especially knowing that my brother had it in the past and unfortunately he passed away, it was hard then. So now knowing that my daughter has it, and of course I have a stronger connection with my daughter, and so it's hard to accept or even think about the possibility that she won't be with us much longer. It's very hard.
I understand. It must be very hard on you and your family to cope with Clarissa's diagnosis. What are the things you do to cope with such a difficult situation?
I mean, I've never been faced with a challenge on this level. Like I said to you before, my brother passed away from it, and I was younger when it happened, so I don't think I fully understood, the concept of death and loss. But with my daughter, now that I'm older, it's just, I don't know, like, sometimes I try not to think about it, but then I'm conflicted on whether or not I should tell her because, I do want her to be able to know, but at the same time, I don't want her life or like her last, few months or whatever, however long she has left, to be tainted by knowing that she has cancer, because I'm sure she'll go through like the steps of depression and all of that, and I just want her to be able to enjoy herself. So it's always on my mind. I don't really know. I don't know what to do.
I see. Okay. And do you usually talk to someone when you're sad, or do you feel like you need to talk to a friend or extended family when you're sad?
Yeah, but in this case it's hard to, because my husband and I have decided not to tell Clarissa, and so because of that, that kind of limits who we can talk to about it, because I would never want someone else to accidentally slip and tell her, and that would be so devastating. So for that reason, I can only talk about this with my husband.
I see that. So knowing that you and your husband decided to tell Clarissa about her diagnosis, did you ever had have you ever been in ambiguity or a doubt that you should have told her?
I'm very conflicted about this. Like I try to put myself in her shoes and want to know if I would want to know, and on some levels I would want to know, but on the other side, like on the other hand, I feel like I'd be so consumed with, what I could do to prolong my life, what treatments are available, full well knowing that her cancer is inoperable. So I feel like I would be the type to focus on it, and I think my daughter she and I have very similar personalities, and I think that that's what would happen.
Okay.
And already she's a teenager, she's going through like, things like relationships at school, puberty, all of that. It's already a confusing time for her. So I think that would just be too much for her at the moment.
I see. I do understand, and I respect your reasons. Now tell me about the challenges you might or might not have in respect to work. Like, I know you guys, you're a pharmacist, so you must be a busy person. So how do you handle like your work and your other aspects of life once providing care to Clarissa?
Yeah, this has been very challenging. So we've been taking Clarissa a lot to the hospital to run a whole bunch of tests because she's been ill. So my time has really been consumed with taking care of Clarissa and her, because she's right now my focus because she's sick. But at the same time, I have two sons who are very active. They're very athletic. They have they play rep soccer, so I have to take them to competitions and whatnot very frequently, and then I have to work, and then I have household duties, and my husband is also working full time. So fortunately we have some family members who live in the neighborhood who are able to sometimes pick up the boys and take them
that's
to.
great.
Yeah, it's been very helpful that way. So it kind of gives us the ability to focus on Clarissa.
That's great. That's really great. You know, this is the time you might want to use some other extra help, because it will be so hard on you to take everything
Right.
by yourself. So as you said, some of the responsibilities that you have to do for boys and at home, you have some extended family to help you out. Any other help you guys get from community or anybody else?
No, we don't have any outside support beyond family.
Okay. So we definitely talk about it more. Like, if in the future, if you have to take Clarissa home, you might be using some community help.
Okay. There's
so
supports in place for that?
Of course, yeah, there is. So
Okay.
I can connect you with that, of course.
That'd be
just
great.
let me know.
For sure.
So my other question is that what do you think other resources could be for you and your husband to cope with your daughter's diagnosis? What kind of things would interest you?
I think even just someone to talk to, because I feel like I can sense kind of like the beginnings of some strain in our marriage.
Okay.
And I have done some research, and I've seen that marriages between couples who have lost a child or who have sick children, they have a pretty high separation or divorce rate, and of course I would never want that to happen with us. And so I kind of would like to be proactive and see, you know, how we can combat this. So and because on top of that, he's the only person I can talk to about this, it just makes it that much more difficult, because it's just I would like you know, another person to bounce ideas off of and share my thoughts with, but and I also don't want to burden him with my thoughts and whatnot. So it's conflicting. I don't know what to do really.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and I would like something for my sons as well, because even though they don't know what Clarissa has and that she's dying, I know that they are able to recognize she's sick. And so, you know, like, they don't have their
Do they ever ask you, like, how if she's gonna get better or she's gonna come home? How is their relationship?
Yeah, they're quite close to her. Like, she's very fond of them, and they are fond of her as well. And so, you know, usually after school, sometimes like she would pick them up from the elementary school because it's close by to the high school. And now that she can't do that, they kind of miss her, and they're not able to sometimes see her because she's in the hospital. So I know that they feel a little bit of loss there with this time that they're able to spend with her, and she also feels that loss. So I kind of want, it's hard what I want, because I at the same time I don't want them to know, and I don't want Clarissa to know, but I do want something there to be able to help them understand that their sister is sick.
Prepare them for the situation.
Right, without them knowing what is going to happen.
I see. Okay, what about do you have any spiritual resource, or, you know, religious resource that you can use? Do you ever use any kind of resource?
So my husband, our family, we're Muslim, so we go to the mosque about usually once a week for Friday prayer if we can make it. But now that Clarissa's gotten sick, I feel like that's kind of fallen to the wayside because we're just busy taking her back and forth between appointments. So I feel like our spirituality and our religious practices have definitely fallen to the wayside, which is unfortunate. But
okay. So at this point, I just think that it's a better idea to include your husband in our next conversation to find a better way for you guys to cope, to find a coping mechanism for Clarissa's diagnosis. We definitely have more conversation. Is there anything else I can help you with? Is there any question you want to ask me?
No. Yeah, just like the support services that you mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
That'd be great.
I will make a list of them, and then we will have a talk about it.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.